Hey everybody. Hey, two quick tips on what I've learned so far from refurbishing a set of wheels for this new to me LP 560. I got these three-piece wheels and they're 10 years old, so they need some refurbishing. So I decided that's what I'm going to do. And let's see, these are the wheels. And they had a set of tires on them when I got them, but they're not all that great. And I used them for a while and I cracked the barrel and had to replace it, and that's a whole different story. But if you go with low profile, 20-inch low profile tires to your tire place, they'll say that they want to charge you 25 bucks a piece to dismount them and 25 bucks a piece to mount and balance. So being as I had to do this in two different stages by taking the tires off, bringing the wheels back, redoing the wheels, take the wheels back, remount the tires and balance and all, I figured, it's a three-piece wheel. Can I take the tire off the wheel in the process of taking the wheel apart? And that seems to be a question, and some say no, some say yes, but I figured I'd give it a shot. Why not? And the first one was hard because, of course, I never did it before, and it was a bit of a bear. But once I figured out how to do it, it was the next three were pretty much a piece of cake. And all I used to do it were these two tools. Once you get all the bolts out, you got to separate the two halves, right? And the key to that was I took the whole thing as an assembly with the bolts out, and then just kept lifting it up and dropping it on the floor, lifting it up and dropping it on the floor, and turning it and lift it up and drop it on the floor, or force it down, like throw it on the floor, and eventually the two pieces split. And once the silicone lets go and the two pieces split, you take some purple power mixed with some water. The soapy kind of has a kind of like a lubricating property. Spray it all around the bead, and then take these two tools. This is just a trim tool, but it has a little bit of an angle on it, and work them around the bead until the trim ring pops out. And then once that pops out, then the other side, you do the same thing on the other side, and then that eventually will pop out. And I did all four of them, so I never had to load up all my wheels, go to the tire guy, come back, wait for him to do it, call me, go back, pick them up, pay him the $100, and I just did it all here, and it worked out. So that being said, that's proof, and this is a 325 25 series tire, so 20-inch. So if I can do that, there's probably a lot of other sizes that you can do that we won't run into problems. Okay, so the next thing I wanted to go over was the hardware. Okay, here's my hardware. See how nice that looks? Oh, nice and shiny, and again and all. It was powder coated black, and when I started to take the wheels apart, some of the powder coating was chipping off. It was like, oh man, I'm gonna have to redo these bolts, And then I thought, in the scheme of things, it would kind of be cool if they were chrome anyway, because I'm doing the wheels a darker color around where they go in, so the black isn't going to contrast, but the chrome would contrast nicely. So I'm just going to leave them chrome. I'm not even going to bother. But if you want to get them this clean, if they're all corroded and rusty and stuff, I tried to take it off with a wheel, and it took me a half an hour to do like four of them. And at that rate, it would have been like 20 hours worth of labor. It's crazy. So I was doing some research online, and there's a guy that goes over three-piece wheel rebuilding. Got to give him a shout out. It's Unknown Coatings. He's got a whole video series on everything you wanted to know about redoing powder coating three-piece wheels. And he goes over this, but it's in one of his videos that it's kind of hard to find unless you stumble across it like I did. In fact, I wanted to go back and I had a hard time finding it. But in a nutshell, what you do is you get some chrome wheel cleaner, not chrome wheel polish. That is more of a whitish substance, and usually comes in a smaller bottle. This is a spray bottle they had at Advanced Auto Parts for $5. It's on clearance, right? It's 23 ounces. I took an old empty washer bottle, cut the top off it, because, you know, I got 23 ounces to work with, and I got to essentially do 160 bolts, 40 of them per tire. So what's going to cover that? So I put it in here, and I kind of slid the cap back on to kind of keep it from evaporating, and I left it sit overnight, and that's how they came out. I mean, look at this. All the powder coating is floating around in the top, right? It just no work, and they come out like this. It took all the powder coating off. Awesome. I couldn't believe how great that worked. And one thing I did that I would probably not do next time is I put the nuts back on, and what happened was they almost kind of like fuse themselves back on there. And let's see. and it leaves the kind of the corrosion. You can see where the corrosion is, where I left the nut on. So another tip: don't put the nuts back on the bolts, because I was afraid of losing, you know, ending up with a different number of nuts and bolts. So I put them all together. But if you're careful, you shouldn't lose anything. All right, so well, that's it for now. Until the next thing that I learn. Okay.